And we are live. Welcome everybody to the 50th episode of the Sling'N podcast. I'm not TJ. I'm Kent, and joining me tonight is Kent. We've got some guests coming on. Didn't want to wait for the folks to show up, so I just wanted to get the broadcast started right now. Say what's up, everybody. 50 episodes deep of your favorite Guns or Net podcast. 50. Holy smokes. We've had it's been just about a year, a little over that, and 50 episodes in. We've had some icons of the training industry, the shooting community, some great info on med, on shotguns, on pistol training, combative stuff. We've had all kinds of good info here, and man, we're 50 episodes in, and we're really just getting started. So tonight's episode is about fan mail, specifically questions that you guys and gals have asked over the course of the last several months, and questions that I get asked all the time in my work as a firearms trainer. So we're just gonna dive into some fan mail questions and bring people in as they come in, such as Mr. Frank from Apache Solutions. What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for jumping in to be my surprise guest co-host this evening.
My pleasure, anytime.
So TJ has to do super secret spy squirrel ninja stuff at the last minute. I guess North Korea got a hold of a suitcase or something, so he had to go blow shit up. I don't know what's going on.
That sounds about right.
He's good. He'll probably join us eventually, but didn't want to keep the people waiting. Dude, 50 episodes, Frank.
All right.
This is number 50. It's been a year since we've taken it seriously, and it's been 50 episodes.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I feel like I should have a montage playing right now of like all the greatest moments so far.
Well, next best thing is here, so
Yeah, there you go. I was watching America's Funniest Home Videos the other night. They do those like montages of the runner-ups.
Right.
I think we should have one.
We can make this happen.
I think we really could. So, Corey Byers likes your muffs.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Ham radio. This is where it's at.
Those are styling. So, what's new in the world of North Carolina firearms training, bud?
Not a whole lot, and a little bit of everything. We've been absolutely slam busy. Been doing a ton of training, a ton of newer or beginner-ish, or have been at a game for a while. Students, which has been awesome and terrifying all at the same time, given the reason why they're coming to us. But no, it's really been good. Haven't had too much of an opportunity to, get out and train personally, just because of all the craziness that's happening. And when I have been able to get out and train, really been rationing ammo, things of that nature, trying to get the best bang for my buck, literally. But I think that's what all of us are trying to face right now.
Yeah, it's a brave new world out here in the gun community. I hate to say it, but times like these tend to separate the serious from the plinkers and from the hobbyists.
Yeah.
Right. It's a whole nother ball of wax when you're paying double what you were paying for your ammo.
Oh yeah, if not triple or quadruple in some cases.
How serious are you, right?
Yeah, it's unreal.
So it's funny. So since we just talked about cost of ammo, one of the fan mail questions that we have, that I've been getting asked a lot anyway, is the validity or the value of 22 caliber firearms for training. So since you're the resident firearms instructor and I'm just the host of the podcast,
whatever.
I guess I get to ask you the questions now. Isn't that nice? So what do you think, man? You see a value in 22s for defensive training?
Absolutely. I think that it's good to really get reps in, because you can practice a lot, if close to everything, with the 22. What you don't get back is, a lot of the good, like recoil management and stuff like that. A lot of the good, skills that go along with that set. Something that you definitely get a lot of is practicing with malfunctions and handling. Because 22's 22. You're going to constantly have issues. Depending on the firearm and the grade of ammo that you're running. We all can't afford to run CCI mini mag the entire time. So good old cheap Thunderbolt. Good old cheap Thunderbolt, man. Quick and dirty, really gums your stuff up quick, but you get really used to working through those manipulations and really cranking on that firearm, with expedience with routine, that it becomes second nature. You don't even think about what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll second what you said about recoil management. If you're running bill drills with 22, you're probably doing it wrong.
Right.
That's not the point. But certainly one-shot draws, transitions, movements, manipulations. I would even make an argument that in the rifle realm, like if you had one of those M&P 1522s, or if you have a 22 conversion bolt for your real deal work rifle or whatever, I don't see a whole heck of a lot of difference there. Even the recoil management's pretty close to the same thing.
Yeah. One thing that I quite literally this morning had I have a Ruger Precision trainer, and I have it set up identical to my Ruger Precision 6.5 Creedmoor, minus some difference in the stock. But aside from the trigger pull and actually the length of bolt throw and everything's identical between the two. So I can get some real good practice, some real good, prone laying with my gun, in position, and really get some good reps in. And it's just like, again, it's not the same, but it's close enough to where I still get positive reps in. I can still get really good live fire practice without having to blow a ton of money on, doing something similar. It's not going to beat the real deal by any means, any stretch of imagination. Something that I try and encourage people to do is, if you want to run 22 for a training session, awesome, more power to you. But let's at least run a mag or two at the end of our session to really get some of that recoil management, stuff like that down, so that you're not, there's a lot of things that, the recoil can show up, or can show you that you're doing wrong, or that you're limp wristing, or you don't have good grip or something that 22 just won't show you.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that I'm exploring currently is we now don't have to, training handgun stuff with a 22 used to mean, I got to roll a Smith & Wesson Victory or a Ruger Mark IV or something that's completely different than my defensive carry gun. And let's not pretend the Glock 44 is anything new, because there's been a Beretta 22, there's been a Smith & Wesson 22 out there.
Well, there's been slide conversions for the Glock for ever, TCM or something like that. They've been out for a while. I've got one, here at the house. Glock 44s, it runs better. It's designed to work a lot better, but it's just same bag, same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the bottom line would be, I personally think that if you're gonna set up a rifle, or if you're gonna set up a pistol for 22 training, it damn sure ought to be as close as you can get it to the real thing. Right. Don't have a different optic on your rifle. Don't have a different, not scoop. I want to say, don't have a different white light placement. Don't have a different rail.
Yeah,
you got to make it as close to identical as possible. Otherwise, you're kind of burning some reps. And then the other thing the ammo shortage is making at least me do is, I'm dusting off some shit I haven't shot in a long time, right? We're going, geez, there's this caliber called 40 Smith & Wesson that I haven't shot in 5-6 years, seriously.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Right? So we're doing some of that. We're shooting some 40 revolver. We're shooting some other revolver calibers, those of us that have some 357 or 38 sitting around,
So I quite literally taught a concealed carry class not this 2 weekends ago. And class went well. Prior to that course, we had a couple that had brought out, again, new situation, the previous gun owners, but don't have any training, again, because of current things happening. They want to get back into it, get their concealed carry. So they came out, brought this revolver, and which is, nothing wrong with the revolver itself, aside from it had like a 15-pound trigger press, and the poor lady that was running the gun or trying to run the gun, she was tiny. So she was fighting it the entire time. And so I was like, all right, well, if you guys went and we bought 38 ammo, I'll bring out some 38. And, I just happened to wear my Chiappa Rhino, my little snubby. And, so brought all that out. So I've been able to get, just a little bit of, I would equate it more to plinking than actual training. But bringing out some of the revolvers and some of that type of stuff and really getting some good reps in as far as, practicing and really applying some of the stuff that I've learned recently. That's been good. It's been, you don't shoot that stuff on a regular basis. It's kind of fun getting it out every now and then and, refreshing your memory on some things.
I mean, it's only plinking until Frank has to fucking take out 6 zombies and all he's got left is a Chiappa Rhino, and all of a sudden he goes 6 for 6.
Hey, man, it is what it is. Man, I can run the hell out of that gun, though. I love them.
Yeah, really you impressed me when I shot with you, and you had it. You actually had a pretty squared away appendix holster for that gun, if I do remember. What do you have for that gun?
It's actually called Black Rhino Concealment.
I knew. Yes.
Yeah, Kydex holster. It's one of the things where I was wanting to. I bought a bunch of different holsters for those. I have 2. I have the 4-inch and I have the little snubby 2-inch Chiappa Rhino. And I wanted a holster that could run both of them. So I was trying to find a nice long holster where I can run something like that, like the 60DS, the 6-inch that I'm eventually going to get at some point. And kind of going through and trying a bunch of different ones. And I tell you what, dude, I tried probably 8 different holsters. And that one, that Black Rhino Concealment, was the best holster I could find for those guns. They're all practically the same, just the barrel length is different. But that was the most comfortable holster that I found so far. Again, the length of it, it fits just perfect. I mean, it works great for me.
I have, I'm going to say 6, but it might be more than that of their holsters.
Yeah.
They make good product. They're, shout out Black Rhino. Sponsor us, yo. Those guys they make a good product. I've moved on to Filster and other things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I tried. I even went down the route of picking up was that Alienware, Alien Gear, something like that. Those hybrid holsters. I spent a ton of money just trying a bunch of different holsters out. And like I said, so far that Black Rhino has definitely got on lock. I really enjoy it. Really like that holster.
Plus, now you can burn an Alien Gear holster and save the world.
Oh yeah, I got like 2 or 3 actually, like right in front of me.
Yeah. Hey, we've all been there. We've all made poor holster choices. So, speaking of poor holster choices, I can segue again. You just set me up for the P.S. Folks, fucking zero planning on this one. Frank didn't know he was going to be on this show until about 11 minutes ago. So, we can't have possibly planned these segues. I'm getting asked a lot about making investments in gear as a new gun owner, right? Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of, right? Like, I bought the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's the thing, right? There's the gun. There's the item. It's the object. What the fuck do I put it in? What do I clean it with? How do I carry this thing? Should I have a safe? Should I have this? Should I have that?
Yep.
And unfortunately, the unscrupulous corners of our industry still exist, and people just get sold some junk. I had a guy telling me that he got sold a quick access handgun safe. This was just today. And I said, where'd you buy that from? And he said, Century. I said, you mean like them document safes? He's like, well, yeah. I said, well, how the hell do you open this thing? He goes, it's real quick. I just punch in a 6-digit code and then star and then turn the thing and then wait and it. I'm like, you gonna die.
Yeah, no joke.
So what would your advice be to the new gun owner within the realm of buying accessories? And P.S. we can hear a phone call or something in the background.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that. So slow down. Stop buying so much stuff. The biggest thing is going ahead and stopping and talk to other gun owners and that have some rapport, not just the gun salesman behind the counter. But come out, take a private class. Bring what you have, but don't rush out and buy anything. Talk to people like Kent or Tim or at Apache or some other reputable training company that can say, hey, this is quality gear and this is not, and this is why it's not. If they just say, oh well, that's junk, and they don't give you any reason behind why it's junk, then you might need to think about who you're going and asking these questions for. But overall, man, just especially at Apache, we have an entire bin slap full of don't ever do this again. And we drag it out in our post-concealed carry class and say, hey, this is garbage. This is okay. This isn't ideal, but this is not horrible. And then this is great. And we kind of go through and we explain to you why it's garbage, why it's great, why it's whatever, why it's mediocre, and really break it down. And the biggest thing is, and I had a gentleman that contacted me earlier this week on, hey, I'm going to buy this gun, this gun, this gun, this gun, and I want to sell this gun, this gun, this gun. And he's a brand new gun owner. Like he's like fresh into it. He has like no training.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, slow up. Like, I think some of the decisions you're making right now aren't the best because you don't really know what you need or what you don't need. We won't get into it, but anyway.
No, dude, get into it. What do you got?
No, there's we see a lot of people that will come in and there's a big difference between a gun salesman and a true like gunslinger. And unfortunately, a lot of the gun salesmen are sitting behind the counters posing as gunslingers. So they'll go through and they'll say, hey, this is what you need. This is what you need, little lady. You need to run this little airweight, 38 revolver because it's small and it has, it's lightweight. You can stick it wherever and you don't have to worry about a, manual safety or something. And you're like, dude, you're setting her up for failure. Like you're saying she can't rack this 5 pound slide, but she can pull this 12-pound trigger. Get out of here. And we see stuff like that constantly. Tony, like car salesman. I mean, it's the same thing. They're just trying to make a sale. But, going through and really helping people make educated decisions on what a good fitment looks like and what good fitment feels like, that is worth, its weight. I cannot tell you how many times we've had a student that's come out and they bring out a particular farm and, their rationale behind purchasing this particular farm is, well, it feels good. Okay. Yeah. Elaborate a little bit. Show me. And, it may feel good in their hand. Ergonomically, stuff's there, but they can't reach the controls. Right. Yep. So you got to be like, you got to kind of dance around a little bit, or I do anyway. It depends on the person. I'm not as blunt all the time, but I'll dance around like, that might not be the best farm that to fit you. And this is why, you can't reach controls, can't do this, see how you're having to cock your hand over to the side where your knuckles behind the back strap. That's not good. You want your main knuckle to be on the, other side of the slide, stuff like that. And you should see the light bulb come on some of these people as they go, oh, I had no clue. Like, It's not your fault. But that's the biggest thing, man. Just stop. Go ahead and slow down and, relax and, not stress out over going and buying all the stuff right now. You have time for that. Let's find what fits you, make that educated decision and buy. I'm real big on the whole buy once, cry once. So buy quality the first time and you don't have to worry about having to go back and fix it later. So that's, I try and push that on as many people as I can. And ultimately, in the long run, it doesn't cost you nearly as much as other mistakes.
Yeah, no shit, right? So let's see. Bullet Sponge, a.k.a. not Justin, absolutely not Justin, is asking about the value of Air Force. Air Force? Airsoft.
Airsoft.
Yes, Air Force. Is the Air Force valuable?
Wow.
So, about the value of airsoft for defensive training. What do you think about that?
Yeah, huge value. There's let me caveat that huge value when done right. It's really easy, especially with airsoft or sims in general, but airsoft specifically, for it to turn into a game and not for it to have any kind of actual like training value. But if you like set up specific parameters and you treat it like it's serious, then you're ready to rock. It has absolute terrific value, especially if you get shot in the face. That tends to, everybody has a plan until they get shot in the face, and that kind of locks everything in.
Everybody has a plan until Tim Kelly goes the wrong fucking way and points a gun at you through a car door. And all of a sudden, shit just got real.
That's right. Or when you have a clusterfuck and you're trying to figure out what's going on, you go, oh, shit.
What's funny, guys, is I've asked the Apache Solutions folks for that video several times now, and they're not providing it. I have to assume that they don't want it to ever see the light of day.
I have it on my phone. I'll upload it tonight. I show, like new students or people who are like, trying to humanize Tim, because Tim's a god, let's face it. But, going through and like showing people that, yeah, we're all human. We all have, training scars. We all do things, silly things, especially when you're all amped up and doing things. That's just a perfect video. You see Tim fiddling with something. You see big old Papa Bear Kent running after him. And he just like goes, oh, like all of his steam just lets out at once. It's perfect.
Yeah. I have no nefarious purposes for wanting a copy of that. I just, it was kind of one of my more fun moments of my training year. Was getting to hear him go, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, it's a classic. I love it.
So your boy Zach, or our boy Zach, should I say, has maybe posted one of my favorite questions / discussions / arguments on the internet: the value or difference between a 10 and 25 yard zero on a red dot pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't spoil. I'll keep playing host. I'll go like this.
Man. I feel like I'm like on the fryer right now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. This is good.
I didn't agree to this.
I know.
I've read a bunch of books and stuff on the difference between, or really, where you should zero your rifle at, and or excuse me, not your rifle, your handgun at, your red dot sight on your handgun, and I think the general consensus is 10 yards, and that's what I sight my particular firearm on. I sight in at 10 yards. As far as like height over offset and how all of that works, a lot of self-defense engagements are going to happen within that 3 to 7 yard ish range, right within that 21 feet. So the height offset at 10 yards is minimal comparatively to that 25 yards, even though we're talking inches here. So for me, it makes more sense to zero your red dot at 10 yards because you have that much less offset than you do at 25 yards when you have just a little bit greater offset. Again, we're talking minute. I mean, we're talking inches, but inches at distance matters a lot. So that's my thought process. That's why I chose, that 10 yard zero. And that's what I use on all my red dots, pistol red dots.
Well, that's it. So for one thing, you dudes follow the handgun combatives training methodology pretty closely, mm-hmm. which means you do fade back drills,
mm-hmm.
which means you actually shoot at 25 yards.
Yep.
Here's a fucking scoop for you. Some training companies don't shoot at 25 yards. So if you've got some dude on the range who's telling you that he runs a 25 yard pistol zero, and then you take his entire curriculum and you don't ever step past the 10 yard line. Okay. So there's that.
Why am I zeroing at 25 yards? Yeah. Why am I wasting my time?
What am I doing?
Right.
So, I will, you talked about Tim being a god. I will invoke another god who is the great and all powerful Jedi himself. Right. Yeah. And the methodology behind, and I don't speak for him, but I've heard it enough, and hosted him enough, and been around it. I've heard it a few times now. Can you get a student who is having fundamental difficulties anyway? Right? We've got convulsive grip issues, we've got trigger issues, we've got support hand grip issues, we've got consistency problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you can't get that guy to stack rounds at any distance, then his zero is kind of less imperative.
It's a moot point.
However, if you can get some level of competency built up in your students, the chances of being able to get a 10-yard zero out of a group of, say, 10 or 15 students on the line in a compressed amount of time so that we can then move on to bigger and better things are higher. Now, let's define what a 10-yard zero actually is. Because if you're putting up a B8 and you're shooting at an X-ring and you're calling the whole entire X-ring a 10-yard zero, that's not a zero, okay? I believe Scott's quote on that is, that's not a zero, that's a coordinate, right? A 10-yard zero is a 1-inch paster without a line break, okay? So put a 1-inch paster up on your targets, back your happy ass up to 10 yards, and shoot at that thing and make adjustments until you are putting a whole .357 projectile in that thing without a line break. Right. That is a 10-yard zero, okay? Right. If you can get a dude, here's a freaking projectile, right? If you can get most of that in the hole, if you've got a 10-degree line break or something, that's fine. But if you're barely touching the lower left corner at all, and most of your round is outside the lower left corner of that paster, you need to dial a few clicks up and a few clicks right.
Right.
That.
Granted that you're not doing something consistently bad.
Sure. We need a shooter who can do, if you're putting 5 rounds in that low left corner consistently, then you need to dial up and right.
Right.
If you're putting 1 high right, 1 low left, and 1 in fucking Texas, then we've got other problems.
Yep.
The other thing that can be done is there's nothing that says that we can't take our 10-yard zero and verify it and shoot it at 25 to see what it gives us.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So rather than arguing about where the zero distance should actually be, I'll give a fuck if you've got a 13 3/4 yard zero.
Yeah, if you know where it is.
If you know where it's going to hit.
Right.
Then you're most of the way there.
One of the reasons why I like, I don't want to even say preaching, but I like stating and, why I run a 10-yard zero and why, that's something that's consistent. If I know that any of my guys or, any of my friends or, the guys I train with, they're all running 10-yard zero also. I know with confidence, I can reach up and say, hey, can I see your gun real quick? I can take their firearm and I can perform with their gun the same way I can perform with mine within reason. You're not going to be as best as your carry gun, but I can still do what I need to do. I can still go to work with their particular firearm and still know where I need to be holding or what I need to be doing. So, it's not it's kind of it helps each other out, especially when we're training together. If I know, I know Zach's on here. Zach's the one that asked a question. If I know that, Zach's gun, he sights in at a 10-yard zero, and, Zach is having a particular issue with a particular firearm that is garbage or poet, then I can grab that particular firearm and I can actually go to work with it. And I can say, yeah, no, this gun is garbage and this is why it's garbage. Or I could say, no, man, you're just off your game today. I'm drilling holes. I'm drilling dimes out where, you're just all over the place. So it kind of helps, keep each other on the straight and narrow in that regard.
Son of a bitch. I knew I was missing mags, and Zach just came on here and said he has my mags. I was telling Justin the other day in my basement. P.S. I keep Justin in my basement sometimes. I was like, God damn it, I know I'm missing some mags. How many of my mags do you have, Zach?
If I recall correctly, I think you got a couple of my mags too.
I do. I do. We need to have like a mag hostage negotiation.
Just like trading them out. So what I'll do is you keep those mags. I'll keep whatever mags Zach has, and it's all good.
That's what happened. Tim ended up leaving with my mags from frickin' Rangemaster.
Oh, I believe it.
Now I knew it. God damn it.
Yep, I knew it.
Okay, now I know what's going on. Anywho, bro, I leave fucking mags everywhere. I leave a trail of mags.
I do too. So my range bag, I'm like constant. So I'm that guy that shows up, especially if I go to a class somewhere, that I'll bring a tote just slammed full of already preloaded mags. This is pre-COVID, by the way. I'll bring a tote packed full of mags, so I don't have to stuff a mag the entire time I'm there. I'm there to train. I'm not there to stuff mags. And so I'll have, like I said, a big old like egg basket just slept full of mags and all kinds of stuff, fully loaded. And I'm the guy that's running back and forth from the line, with Tim calls it his Gucci bag.
I know.
So that we don't have to sit there and load stuff mags to do silly stuff. But
that's really funny. One more thing on the 15 versus 20 or the 10 versus 25 yard zero.
Yeah.
Go shoot that. Actually, Zach and all you Apache boys, put a 25 yard zero on a Glock and put a 10 yard zero on a Glock, and go shoot your fade back for me. And I'm going to tell you right now, you know what's going to happen? Every one of you is going to pass the fade back either way.
Yeah, it's nominal. It really is. I mean, you're talking inches at that distance.
Yeah, you're looking at under 2 inches of variation.
Yeah.
When you're talking offsets and you're talking holdovers, and I'm not saying precision doesn't matter, because it certainly does. But if it's your gun, you should know what to expect out of it. And man, I could hand you a gun that was zeroed at either distance, and I could tell you to, perform a fade back for me or to shoot a B8. And what I will tell you is on 25 yards at a B8, if I hand you a 10-yard gun and you hold dead ass center, you're going to end up hitting high. But what we'll see consistency. We'll see a group that high.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yep.
So, there we go. Justin can't see far enough for a 25 yard zero, so there is that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Engage safety squints. What am I doing? I can't see.
Yeah. Yep. So let's see. Other fan mail questions.
I saw a good one. Justin had asked earlier. Asked if I had something. There we go. Any experience with cast projectiles and potential fouling? So that's a good one. I've actually had that question asked several times. Of can you use cast projectiles in a Glock, stuff like that? The short answer is no. Don't do that. You kaboomy.
Yeah.
So especially with like modern machined rifling, things of that nature, lead will absolutely foul like the insides and fill those lands and grooves, and you're ever increasing the potential of having a catastrophic oopsie. You want to really be cognizant of, especially with modern machine barrels, you want to be cognizant of those the tolerances. It's too much lead fouling can cause a squib. A violent squib causes nubs and funny nicknames. So we want to try and avoid that, the best that you can. Now, that's not to say that you can run the hell out of some cast projectiles in other firearms, revolvers all day long, every day, no questions asked. Run a semi-wad cutter or a wad cutter, something like that, punch out those perfect circles in your target. But as far as running in like a Glock or something, a more modern firearm, I'd be hesitant.
Yeah. Barry's bullets are a thing.
Yeah.
Get some copper-plated lead and go nuts, right?
Or even just some sort of coated projectile. Here locally, blue bullets, they're known all over the world. I mean, they took IDPA and stuff like that by storm, but they're actually made, they're manufactured here locally to us. So we run blue bullets probably for the past three years or so, 2 years, something like that at the range. We run a lot of blue bullets. No problem. Like I said, you just don't want that raw lead, because what happens is it all that particulate and all that fouling gets in that barrel, and like I said, you're ever increasing the possibility of having a catastrophic screw up.
Yeah. Can I run 85 octane in my Ford truck? Sure, for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. Midnight Range TM, shout out. What's up, dude? Another good channel. Go check him out. Wants to know if that is because of the polygonal rifling. And I don't know what that has to do with how many wives Gaston Glock has.
I mean, he's talking about the new.
Polygonal.
Polygonal.
I thought it was about the wives. Okay, never mind. But see, wait a minute. TJ's not here to stop me from all my nonsense dad jokes.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
Yep, we got two dads on here. Well, dad jokes galore. Let's do it.
Yeah. Polygonal rifling. Now I'm gonna fuck it up. Not polygamy rifling, but polygonal rifling. And cast projectiles do not mix very well.
Glock hand musket. Yes. This needs to happen. I think the closest thing to a Glock hand musket I've seen. It's going to happen. I've talked to a couple of our guys already. So there's this, was it Gun Set Industries makes a 50 GI Glock conversion slide. That bad boy is going to be mine. If they're listening, I will absolutely test the far out of that thing. I'm so stoked. I'm going to get everything. I'm going to get the dies. I want to reload my own rounds. It's going to happen.
The fucking police report's gonna read, and then he smote his enemies from 17 paces among the courtyard.
Hey man, I'm seriously, I'm stoked. How awesome would it be to rock a 50 caliber projectile out of a Glock? That sounds like so much fun.
Compensator, flashlight.
Oh yeah,
50,
all of it,
and a floodlight.
All of it.
Just, can you imagine? Just don't you motherfuckers stand in a line, because if you do,
we'll go through all of you.
Here it comes.
Forget that it only has like 7 round. It's worse than 1911 as far as capacity. But hey, it's gonna happen. Watch, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, then it'll be the rolling special of 2020.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Let's see. What other awesome fan mail questions can we ask? Let's ask about the value of. I fucking hate this question, but I have it. Let's talk about the value of quote unquote basic classes for quote unquote more advanced students.
Okay.
What you got for me on that one?
We've had. I'll speak from experience. We've had several advanced students that have come through that have taken like a NRA Basics of Pistol course. I think you can really sum these guys up in 2, maybe 3 different categories. You got the guys that are, they know it all already. They're an advanced shooter. They consider the class kindergarten. And they kind of have that attitude when they first come in. Well, this is time to have kindergarten, handgun kindergarten, something like that. And if you come in closed-minded already, because you've already told yourself that you know everything there is, but you're already going to learn everything there is in class. You're just checking off a checkbox. Then by the time you come out, when you take one of our courses anyway, you tend to eat a little bit of humble pie. So we have some of these shooters that'll come out and they'll go through, this is a piece of cake. I got this. And then when they actually go to perform and they actually go to shoot, they tend to fall apart. And this is a basics of pistol shooting class. They can't keep any kind of sizable group at the 15-yard mark. And the NRA qual for 15 yards, that big old 8-inch circle at 15 yards. And you only need to make, 16 inside of that 8-inch out of 20. And that's one of those things where sorry, dude, you kind of, brought this on yourself. But at the same time, you got the same type of student that comes out and they like, all right, cool. They come in with an open mind and, they walk out learning something like, hey, I've never heard it from that perspective before. Even if the content isn't something that they've learned, they've just heard it said a different way. And that hearing something a different way, they can now lock back in their brain box and go, oh, okay, I'm going to use that Next time I have a student that has a similar type of issue that has, they're the kind of people that, you really want to go through and say, yep, man, that's awesome. Come on back. Let's keep going at. And typically they're the ones who end up shooting like the instructor calls or stuff like that clean. They don't have a big ego. They're there to learn with everybody else, and it works just well. Often they'll have really good insight. They'll go through and say, hey, such and such student, not co-teach or anything like that, not out of line, but they'll say something like, hey, something that helped for me, somebody had told me once is if you do this, we call it the wave. And then sometimes that one little thing goes, clink, oh, okay, cool. That connects the thought that you weren't connecting at the same time. So that, it kind of, there's a couple different ways that you can go about doing that. I encourage everybody, it doesn't matter if you're an advanced student or not, to take a basics of course of some sort. At minimally, that kind of puts you all on the same, basic level across the board. Everybody knows what you're talking about. You're using the same language. You're not calling that thingamabobber a clip. You're calling it a magazine, things of that nature. I heard that one today. I was in a gun show earlier today, actually up in Boone. They just opened, awesome place. But the gun salesman that was back there, he was, oh yeah, man, I got clips for you. I got all these clips, I got clips for this, clips for that. And like every time he said it, I was like twitching a little bit. He was starting to give me a thing. And, it's just words, man. Words matter.
Words mean things.
Words mean things. Yep.
So Tony has a good point. When the dude comes into class with an ego, do you check that ego a little bit? Look at that smile build. And he's like, yeah, you do. I know I do.
It depends. More often than not, you don't have to. More often than not, they check themselves. That's a good point. You don't have to do anything. But it's the ones that are disruptive to other learning are the ones that piss me off, and they're the ones that get checked.
Yep.
If you have an attitude and you're just hindering your own learning, so be it. That's a self-correcting issue. But if you're hindering somebody else from, a constructive learning environment or learning something or getting something out of it because you have a bad attitude or you're doing something silly like sighing or you're like, oh man, or purposely being distracting, I ain't got time for that. Not gonna fly.
Yeah. No, I can't stand that stuff. What I will say is every once in a while, if done right, I think oftentimes demos are a good place to do that.
Yeah.
You step up to the line and you go, all right, so this is what I want you guys to do. And then you put your gun away cool as a cucumber, and you look over at that dude, and he's over there thinking, I can't do that. Like, I know you can't, but you could if you'd listen, and you could if you'd let us help. Not that every demo goes swimmingly, because sometimes we go to demo things and vomit all over the range and throw guns from one end of the property to the other, and God knows what else happens. But sometimes that needs to happen, and sometimes you just need to. All right, man. Go shoot the qual.
Right.
Go ahead. You know what? Hey, man. Here were my learning objectives for this class. Can you demonstrate all 10 of them to me? Because if you can, then I don't know what the fuck you paid me for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as long as Tim handles it so much better than I do. We don't see these attitudes most often in like our basics class. We tend to see these attitudes in like the state mandated classes.
Yep.
So usually in like a basics of courses or like really any other course, we don't have that kind of problem with people. But it's the state mandated courses where we tend to see these attitudes. Again, going back to that class I taught a couple weeks ago, there were a couple of attitudes in that particular class. And thank God Tim wasn't there, because he would have just lost it on these people. It was a big course. And so during this course, we had two people in particular who were doing a lot of chattering and a lot of talking back and forth, and who were being just more paying attention. It's the long and short of it. So I would purposefully call them into the conversation, say, hey, such and such, what do you think about this? And then you get that blank stare of, what? It's like, yeah, what do you think about this? Cool. You have no idea what we're talking about. Let me clue you in a little bit. And now, what do you think about this? And I'm going to try and force them to get involved. But it just went back to it was state mandated course, and they just want a checkbox checked off. And whether that person passed or not, it's at the end of the day, it's up to them. So it's one of those things where it's it's really you. So, and I think the NRA actually, they lay it out pretty nicely. Knowledge, skills, and attitude. Attitude's on you. I can try and influence your attitude, but the attitude's what you have to bring. I can teach you the skills, or excuse me, I can show you the skills. I can help share the skills. I can teach you the knowledge. But the attitude's the part that I don't have all the full control of. I can only influence. And so outside of that, man, it's there.
It's so funny where attitudes show up and disappear. Even in competition, it's like, bro, are you really going to talk to people like that for this whole match? Because I don't know. I'd like to reach back in the past and slap me when I was that guy, if I ever was. But man, oh man, I just don't understand why people approach anything in life that way. Let's see what else we got.
I don't want to beat this dead horse.
No, go ahead.
Man, I remember we actually talked about it quite a bit. So the first time that I ever came out to Apache as a student, right? I'm talking day one, Green Frank. I had went back the way I went through, and I took a bunch of courses from a bunch of different places. And I did some private stuff, but a lot of the classes and a lot of people that I tend to find were those tactical experience kind of guys. So the literal year I showed up to the range with, my very first time ever training, first few times ever training with Apache, was thigh rig, right? All the way down to my knee, because that's where the cool kids rocked it. Glock 17, bone stock, no stippling, no sights, no trigger job, bone stock. Probably never even cleaned the thing. I mean, it was bad. And I remember I had talked to the Tim and the instructor at the time. We all became really good friends. I remember talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I remember the first day you came out. We both said that you would never come back. Never thought that you'd come back." And I came back second time, and they said I surprised them because I came back. But it was the same thing. Like, I was eager, I was wanting to learn more, but all this junk that I had on, all right, I had on the Condor war belt, and I had on like this stupid thigh rig and stuff like that, just cheap stuff. But it wasn't through attitude. It was entirely out of just lack of knowledge. Like, I didn't know what quality was, and I needed somebody else to show me what that looked like, and I needed somebody else to teach me, what the knowledge that I lacked, and I needed somebody to show me the skill so that I could attain those skills personally and work through those, so that I can become the shooter that I am now today. And it's been a journey. So, man, we're basic students at some point. And I'm still a basic student. I mean, there's stuff I still don't know, and I still go into a class. See, it doesn't matter what it is, as I know nothing, teach me. And then now from that, I'll discern a little bit as far as, what application does this particular skill or knowledge have in my world or my realm. It doesn't mean I get rid of it, but I'll throw it back in my brain bucket and say, okay, I'm going to save this for later. It doesn't necessarily apply to me today. That doesn't mean it's not going to apply to me tomorrow.
So for those playing the home game, what you don't realize is Frank came to me, an advanced student, and left my class a basic student. Mm-hmm. Yep. I ruined him.
Yeah,
I said all his skills went away. He came to me and he regressed.
No. I tell you what, there is huge benefit to going and learning from other instructors or peers that are either, I don't even want to say even better than you, or instructors that you would consider that don't quite have the same experience as you have. It's just a different experience.
Yeah.
And going through, there's so many different things that you can learn from somebody. Like some of our guys, like I'll absolutely, like Landon, for example. Landon hasn't been teaching very long at all. Landon's done some private sessions and stuff like that with us. And I thoroughly enjoy sitting in and just listening to Landon work with another student. And the reason why I like that is because he has a certain way of saying things that I had it was just outside of my realm of experience, the way that he was able to relay some information. And like that, I really enjoyed that. Not to blow your head up, but the same way with you. Like there were things like when Trey and I came up and we took your course, there were things that, I absolutely clicked with a lot of what you said. We were on the same page. No questions asked. I mean, it was identical. It was just like you're taking a class with us, or vice versa. But the way that you said certain little things, we're like, oh, I like that. Oh yeah, I definitely like that. I am keeping that. That little impromptu session that we did in your backyard the first time we all came up. The wave, which I know you stole from, Scott, stuff like that, or Jedi. But that changed a lot of stuff with how we teach grit and how we demonstrate that. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It had just never been, and some of us have already, like Tim, he was already naturally doing it. He just didn't call it the wave. Zach just put on the brakes. Absolutely. That's a big thing. Modulation. I mean, for me personally, that's changed my whole game is, I was real bad about, and I still am, I'm still working on it, real bad about snapping out there and, coming to an abrupt stop and, teetering out there, where really throwing on those brakes at distance is, something that I'm continually working on, continually trying to focus on under stress. I can do it when I'm square range all day long, nice and slow, nice and focused. But it's when I get under stress is when that piece, I haven't got to a point of automaticity yet. It's not just natural for me yet. So it's, something I'm working on.
Heck yeah, man. Let's see. What other fan mail questions? Let's ask, oh man, some funnier fan mail questions or some like, so this was originally meant for me and TJ, but I'll clue you in on it. What's been your most embarrassing moment of the last year, gun and shooty and training wise?
Man, I'm gonna have to think on that a little bit. I'm not much of a person that gets too embarrassed. COVID, that works. Let's
Come on,
see.
you had to do something goofy or funny or.
Okay, I got one. So we taught an EDC course, Tim taught an EDC course. This has been several months back. And I don't remember. I don't think I was there the full time or something. I came second day or there's something that was off. I wasn't there the entire course. And showed up for the last part. Oh, that's what it is. They wanted me to bring Art down, which is our armored robotic trainer. And brought him down. We did some stuff. And I had we have this particular drill that we do where you can possibly win a prize or not. So everybody was talking up. They're like, "Yeah, Frank, your turn. You run this." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, no problem." I get up there and I had to let another student run my, not an excuse. This is honest God, what happened? I had another student try my gun and mags, whole 9 yards. I just kind of handed my gear off to him and said, "Here, man, run this, run my own ammo." Well, he went back and he stuffed, my mags full of ammo and gave me all my stuff back. I'm thinking, awesome, I'm great. So I get up on the line, I'm ready to go. Tim hits the buzzer and I go, out, bang, bang. And then the magazine just goes, whoop. Shit. So I go back and do reload and I go, bang, whoop. Magazine drops out both times. I'm just sitting there with a gun in my hand going, what the fuck just happened? Like, this doesn't happen. Like, what did I do wrong? I'm sitting there trying to go over everything and everybody's making fun of me and laughing. It's a good time, but I'm thinking, what did I do? Like, I'm sitting there, I cannot figure out what's going on. Well, the dude I had let, and Zach's laughing because Zach knows this guy personally. the dude, he was using that one of these like speed loader things where it just crams a bunch of bullets in the same time with these Glock mags.
Yeah.
And they were flipped backwards. So when it was like flipped backwards, it would try and feed, and it wouldn't feed, it get jammed up. And my palm had pressed up against the magazine release, and they just crept right out of the gun. And it did it twice, like back to back. Zach's probably, I know Landon's got the footage. Landon was wearing a helmet cam the entire time, but Zach's probably got it too. Man, that was embarrassing. Like, I was in front of a full class. None of these dudes know me except for like Apache guys. And my gun just took a dump on me twice. It was my fault. I should have checked my gear. But still, twice. That was embarrassing. I was like, I want to crawl underneath a rock.
Oh, boy. So, let's see.
Oh, Trey, yeah, the voice crack at my last concealed carry class. I completely forgot about that. 2 weeks ago, we're in this again. This is a normal state mandated class, and we have a kind of a routine that we go through, a very specific way that we say, in time limit, not to see 6 seconds, please. 10 rounds, target. On my command to fire. Command to fire is threat. Stand by. Threat. Well, one of the tens of times that I said threat, my voice cracked hard, like puberty hard. Like I just went, it was weak threat came out of my throat. And then right when it happened, everyone, not the gut people online, they heard it, they were going to work. But after everyone had shot, I kind of was looking back, and there was a group of people that were back underneath the shelter, and the RSOs were looking at me like, Frank, how's that second puberty going for you? Like, they're giving me hell. There's just like this weak little raspy threat call came out of my throat. There's nothing I can do about it. I completely forgot about that. Thanks, Trey.
Oh, man. So, let's see. What would mine be? Besides a gun blowing up and smacking me in the face. That's a little scary and embarrassing. Justin's on here always calling me out for running out of ammo in the middle of demos. That happens a lot. I'm always like, Justin, ammo. And he wears his little minstrel outfit and comes, dancing back out onto the freaking range. It gives me ammo. I think what I'm most known for as far as like goofy screw ups or funny shit on the range is I have this problem where the things that come in between my ears oftentimes come out of my mouth, right? So there have been numerous times when I've, even like as a student, when I just couldn't help myself from saying some shit to somebody, right? Like making fun of their, particular driving abilities based on their race, or, making jokes about their age, or making jokes about freaking,
family.
Their family or my family or whatever else. So I'll tell a PG version on myself. I was just training with Givens, right? Timmy and I were just at Tom's class, and Tom Givens showed a picture of himself in the military, and he was trying to make a point about like, just because a guy was in the military doesn't mean he knows shit about firearms training, which is the truth. So he wasn't grandstanding or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, he went through it awful quick, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, Tom, roll that back. And he goes, what? It's like, come on, homie, north or south? And he just, I get this whole group of people just looking at me like, what the fuck, dude? Hey, this guy's about to grade our tests and shit. You're over here like, I don't know.
And Tom's a trip. He really is. He's a character.
Yeah, definitely no filter. I also genuinely try to use humor to bring relaxation to the environment, because that needs to happen a lot. Absolutely. So let's see. That's high on the list. Phil Groff ran my foot over with a car 2 AVDs ago. It's pretty high on the list. Actually, Phil Groff had nothing to do with it. He told me specifically not to put my foot there. I put my foot there anyway. Right. And I done got runned over. So that's a thing. I was shooting a 3-gun match, and I brought a pump shotgun to a 3-gun match. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. I was standing. I look like a monkey in a freaking wetsuit. I'm just just loading and pumping.
Hey, man. So I took when I was in Washington State, I took a shotgun class with Tom Gibbons, and he does this thing called Rolling Thunder.
I'm familiar.
Bang, racket, and you got 4 guys, and you're working as a team, and he kind of puts teams against teams, stuff like that. So every one of the guys that were, and he kind of mixes up teams. He puts like the best with the best. Well, I ended up when I went out to Washington, I didn't fly out there with a shotgun, so I borrowed one of the range guns out there, and he had this like little Mossberg 500 pump. Man, I was wearing that thing out. It was soaking wet with lube. I mean, this thing was nasty wet with lube. Like the guy pulled it up out of a 55-gallon drum and said, "Here you go." It ran like a skull dog the entire weekend, but damn, I smelled like Hops number 9 the entire weekend too. I mean, it was just covered in lube. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and all their other guys, all the best shooters in the class, they're obviously all running Beretta semi-automatics. So I mean, it was a lot easier for them to go tunk 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 think, and then go ahead and run their gun. For me, I was sitting there going, shit, bop, 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 going through this thing, and I look like a monkey banging a football or something like that. I mean, I was just going at it, and so I'm sitting there going to work on this gun, and everybody else is we're keeping up or doing the Rolling Thunder thing. I'm thinking, yeah, man, I'm hot stuff with this pump gun. And then I got to play with one of the Berettas. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm buying one of those. So first thing I did when I came back, hunt one down. Tim bought me 2.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
There you go. So let's see. Final fan mail question. When is the apocalypse going to end? Nothing.
Man, nope, not going there. Man, it's one of the things where, which one? Because as soon as this one's over, there's going to be another one that's going to start. Yeah, COVID 20, Tony. Yeah, that's perfect. But no, seriously, like, I've heard a lot of like conspiracy stuff going between of, when is our ammo going to come back? Let's bring it back to something that's a little more home. When are we going to be able to like afford to actually train again? Things like that. And it just depends, Definitely going to encourage people to go out and vote, who they think's right, what they think's right. But, we're going to be in this mess to at least January. I mean, we'll see. It always takes a few months after the election to kind of for things start to fizzle out. But with current political climate, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, it's scary. If this isn't a lesson to you to buy some shit that you're gonna need before you need it, right? I mean, I don't know how many times we can. I don't know how many more times we can emphasize that idea. Like maybe buy some ammo before you run out. Maybe,
right?
Just maybe.
Oh,
Be prepared to reload. Yeah. I don't know. It's not like we've got 50 fucking episodes of a podcast out there anywhere talking about all this stuff that you can go back and listen to and maybe learn a thing or two. So, yeah. Well, anyway, it's always good to answer some fan mail questions. If you have questions, send them to P.O. Box 302 in Walla Walla, Washington. Care of, I don't know who that is. Sling'Nledpodcast@gmail.com is the email address that TJ and I monitor. So if you've got fan mail questions or whatever like that, and of course, Kent@greenmountaindefense.com. If you're a student and you're asking me questions, that's where that kind of stuff can go. That being said, man, number 50 is in the books. It's crazy. So why don't you do your thing? Get in all the Apache plugs. Make sure everybody knows where they can find you guys. What you got coming up for classes.
Hit us up, ApacheNC.com, Apache Solutions LLC for the Instagram and FaceSpace, Instabook, all that fun stuff. I got a bunch of stuff that's coming up. This weekend, actually, we're teaching an EDC course. That's going to be a blast. So if you haven't signed up already, come on out. On that course, we go through, we say bring your gear. What do you carry on an everyday basis? And we put that gear to the test. If there's one word I can describe that class, it's going to be reps. We do a lot of reps. We have seen gear that has just absolutely been busted and broke where you thought was good gear. And then we've seen some gear I'm like thinking, I don't know if that's going to last. And surprisingly enough, man, it does great. So, and we've seen everything in between. It's going to be an awesome course. I think we have like 8 or so signed up now. So we still got plenty of room for more. So come on out. It's going to be a really, really, really good day. Outside of that, we have just like I said, check our website. We got a bunch of courses and a bunch of stuff coming up. A couple more basic pistol courses that's coming up here within the next few weeks or so. We try to teach one Apache focused, Apache assembled course. And then we teach a North Carolina concealed carry and a basics of something, basics of pistol usually every month. So we kind of go through and have that kind of regimen. And obviously we have private sessions throughout the week. Hit us up. We'll gladly answer any questions. You reach us through their info@apacheNC.com is kind of comes to our group, and we can filter out who answers what, and you'll get a hold of one of us. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, ApacheFrank.com, or excuse me, Apache Frank. And yeah, that's where we're at.
AVD, December 19th.
That's right, AVD. Yep, December 19th. Glad you said that. Phil Groth's coming down. That's going to be doing that with us here. That's going to be a blast. I think. Are you coming down for that, Ken?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna be Phil's traveling minstrel. I'm gonna load his mags, put up his targets. He might let me say like 1 or 2 things, and then
awesome.
Totally unfuck them after I screw them up.
Right.
But
right.
Him and I were just talking today, actually.
Cool.
Looking forward to it. But
it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to have Phil come down and check us out. It's always fun to meet new people and have a group of like-minded guys get together or gals. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. Weather should be perfect. Nice and chilly. December. Come on now. It's great.
Oh yeah. You guys just got to make sure those cars you're getting for us have heaters that work.
Oh yeah, because that's going to totally.
That was in the contract. It's fine. I heard you're doing AVD in that bus of yours.
Well, we might be able to work something out. I know where there's another one of those buses sitting right now.
Dude.
Just saying.
Dude, you still my beating heart. If I get to shoot the windows out of a freaking bus.
We will. We'll definitely bring out a big gun or 2 for that AVD class. So I know we got to shoot. He had like a what was it AK or something like that was there 7.62. I think we'll definitely bring out like a 50 or something like that and see if we can't punch some big holes.
Double door, single door, berm, farmer's field.
Yeah. Chicken houses, all of the chickens. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of damage we can do safely. But I'm definitely interested in that. I think one of my biggest takeaways from Phil's class was definitely the ballistics demo, and I really thoroughly enjoy that. I think bringing out some exotic calibers might be something neat that we could add to that.
Well, dude, I mean, you got a yard full of cars, for Christ's sakes. We could do this with all. You got like 76 cars.
Yeah, I got 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
None I want to shoot at necessarily, but I got 1 or 2.
Well, it's just a thing. I heard your wife was telling me we could use a couple of the cars. That's all I'm saying. She said she needed to make room.
Most of them are rail cars, so there's not much stuff to actually like shoot through. So I think I'm pretty safe. Or maybe I'll throw one of those.
That'd be fun. So, as far as the podcast goes, man, if we're not on there, it's because it doesn't matter. Apple, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, FaceSpace, InstaSnap, whatever. Sling'N podcast is where you can find all of our stuff. I hate to say this, man. I love you, Frank, but I really wish TJ was here to do this part because this is like his jam. And my heart hurts a little bit for my ginger life partner that doesn't get to be here for our 50th episode because his work shit screwed him over. Yep. So TJ, homie, I'm going to pour you out one. This is for you. I'm going to do the ad read. This is going to go to shit. All right, so let's see. We've got Burra Soft No Weight Bushnell. Right On Optics? Is that the optics company?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, in all seriousness, thank God we don't have True Glow as our optics company. We have Right On. RightOnOptics.com is where you can find all their product. TJ, Ramsey, and myself are proud to be. Oh shit! Look at that. X3 PRD. We got pistol red dots up in here. RightOnOptics.com. Check them out for American business veteran-owned quality optics company who continues to do bigger and better things, including in the pistol red dot optics game. So we like that very much. Tell them we sent you. We don't have any special kickbacks or codes or nothing like that. Just go to Optics Planet or any of the other places in our affiliate links and buy Right On's products. Speaking of affiliates, boy, do we have some. Check out greenmountaindefense.com/affiliate-links for all the places that you can help support the show. If you're buying it on the internet, chances are we have an affiliate link to that place, including Amazon. So it doesn't cost y'all an extra dime, but it helps out our show a little bit, rather than you guys having to be our Patreons or something like that. Patreon doesn't like the gun world. We do have Subscribestar. Check us out on there for the weekly content that has not been weekly because I have not been doing my job. www.subscribestar.com/Sling'N podcast. We've got merch. The Teespring account is up. Teespring.com/store/Sling'N podcast is where you can find all that. Hashtag run your gun, not your mouth. We're doing freedom shit. Whose car are we taking? And all kinds of other funny, awesome, hilarious shirts. Find them, buy them, love them. Your best buddies on the podcast or where you can get them. We wouldn't be where we are in this world without our friends who don't necessarily sponsor us, but who do all kinds of big things and help us out in many ways. One of those in the past has been Dark Angel Medical, who's been a guest. Code BB15 will get you 15% off at darkangelmedical.com. Please put in the order notes that you heard about it here on the Sling'N podcast. We're affiliated or friends with or friendly with or whatever a bunch of training companies throughout the whole country, really. Modern Samurai Project, Tim Heron Shooting, Vigor Training, Apache Solutions. More recently, the dudes from Gunset Training out in Ohio. My friend Sam, Evolution Training Solutions up here. 360 Performance, Ashton Ray and Tim Chandler. Anybody and everybody at the Rangemaster crew. And then, of course, I do happen to own a training company, so I suppose I should promote my own. greenmountaindefense.com/training if you would like to train with yours truly. Many of the people in tonight's chat have already done so, and they're still here in chat. And no, they are not tied up in my basement, which means they must have seen some sort of value in the training. greenmountaindefense.com/training. Check out everybody's YouTubes and Insta chats and Facey Spaces and all that stuff. I am at Green Mountain Defense. TJ is at the Lead Slinging Ginger. And Frank is at Apache 4 Rank. Also, big shout out to our boy Tim Kelly and all the rest of the guys at Apache. We love you dudes, and we sincerely appreciate all the help that you've given us. And, just having been so close and so friendly with you guys here over the last year, it's been really awesome. So, bottom line is if you're hearing the sound of my voice and you're looking for quality training and for whatever reason you can't get it from me because of logistics or money or travel or time, man, chances are I can get you with somebody real good, including the man who jumped in here within 8 minutes of notice to help me do my 50th podcast episode. Hey, so, the best thing I can say about a training company besides to plug them on my podcast is would I send my family or friends to them? Yeah, I would. So, there's nothing more important than your time and your effort. And you guys have given us 50 episodes worth of time and effort. Those of you who've been listening and been so faithful, thank you sincerely from the bottom of mine and TJ's and all our other guests and all our other co-hosts and stuffs. From the bottom of our hearts, man, we're not here doing this for nothing. We really appreciate you guys. You, the fans, and the supporters of the show matter the most. So thank you sincerely so much. And here's to adding a 0 to that number 50 and talking about 500 in the near future. Thanks, you guys. God bless you all. And until we see each other again, get out and shoot. Bye, everybody.
Bye.